Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on one family, one judge. It's a court rule in Nevada. Actually, it's a court rule in multiple different counties, not all the counties of Nevada, but I know for sure Washoe County and Clark County have the court rule. It may be mandated by statute. I'm not entirely sure. And what I mean by that is there may be a statute in the Nevada revised statutes that force the judicial districts to create the court rule in certain situations. And I imagine the situation will be based on how big the judicial district is. We have certain judicial districts that are so tiny, there's only one judge or two judges anyway. And of course we have two, Washoe County and Clark County, that have dozens of judges. And those two for sure, I know for sure Washoe County, because that's the county that I litigated my case in, have court rules that mandate that when anytime a family files an action, what I mean by family is like the mother or the father or somebody else connected to the family files an action in the district courts. I'm not sure if this applies to the justice courts. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I know it applies to the district courts, especially where, or as far as I know, where there is a family division. I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but it is not at all unusual for certain judicial districts to have a family division and others to not. Typically, the ones with less judges don't have a family division. In Nevada, the 8th Judicial District and the 2nd Judicial District, which are corresponding to Clark and Washoe County respectively, have a family division, and those are the ones I mentioned earlier that have court rules that require the clerks of the court, I guess you could say anyone who's involved in the court really, to follow the one family, one judge rule. What it basically says is, if you file a case, and it's a domestic relations type of case, so child custody, divorce, paternity, probably even probate, for all I know. If you file one of these cases, and sometime later, 2 or 3 years, whatever, 6 months, a decade even, another person connected to that family files a case, maybe a different type of case entirely. Maybe the first case was paternity, maybe the second one is I don't know, child custody with another father or something like that. Any kind of case where there is some consistency within those two families, like maybe the mom in one is the girlfriend in the other. The wife in one divorce action with her ex is the same girlfriend in the 3 years later filed paternity action with their new boyfriend. Anywhere that there's consistency like that, the subsequent cases are supposed to be set before the same judge that was previously presiding over that particular family. I use the word family because that's what they use in the rule. It's really murky as to what that constitutes, but my understanding is that if you end up back in court for some kind of family matter and they see that you have been here before and that you had this judge last time, the clerk is going to make note of that and apply the one family, one judge rule and put you right back in that judicial department. This happened to me. So I filed my child custody action, and then several years later, I filed a petition for writ of mandamus against the government, which included my ex as a real party in interest. If you want to know the details of this case, stop this video and watch the video Right to Know Where Child Resides. I go into all the details in that case as to what the writ petition was about. Anyway, I filed a petition for writ of mandamus, and that was not in the family division because an extraordinary writ is not really ordinarily a domestic relations type of case. It's considered in a special proceeding is what they call it, in quotation marks. It's a special proceeding. And so it was in the civil division with a civil judge. It was, well, okay. Family judges are civil judges, but a lot of people separate them out. It was in the civil division, which isn't even really a division. I shouldn't call it that. It was just in the non-family division. They don't really have a name for it. They have the family division, and they just have everyone else. There's no name for those divisions. They handle all the other cases, criminal, civil, and everything else. It was put into that one of those departments. I remember that judge. His name was Patrick Flanagan. He's deceased now. And that's not really relevant to the video. But anyway, at the time it was placed in that court, I filed my petition for writ of mandamus, and I was pretty excited to have a different judge because I was just kind of bored and sick and tired of my family judge. I felt like he was jaded and sick of seeing me, and he was looking for any reason he possibly could to just get rid of me. I didn't really feel like he was actually reading any of my paperwork. I didn't really feel like he cared about the child. Anyway, so I filed it there. I was pretty excited. I was going to get a different judge, and I was wondering what he was going to do. It was kind of an easy case. If you watch my video, Right to Know Where Child Resides, you'll see why it was an easy case. The Supreme Court of Nevada published a decision basically telling him what to do. They did all the work for him. So anyway, I was excited to see that, and then all of a sudden, boom, I see an order from the judge where he applies the one family, one judge rule. He cites the local rule, which is a Washoe County District Court rule. I don't remember what number it is. He cites the rule, and the clerk moves my case into the Department of my family judge. So my family judge ultimately had to rule over that, preside over that case, and he made a ruling over that case. He ruled in my favor. I won. And that's basically what this video is about. I just wanted to let people know that I wanted people to know about the one family, one judge rule. And I also wanted people to know that I actually experienced it because I had a case in another department and it was forcibly moved back into the family judge's department. So a few things. I don't think the rule applies if your judge is gone. So like if your judge dies or retires, is no longer on the bench for whatever reason, obviously that judge can't preside over your case anymore because he's gone. Second thing I wanted to say is I'm not sure that there is anything that would prevent you from filing a peremptory challenge of judge. If you don't know what that is, stop this video, watch the video, peremptory challenge of judge. There doesn't seem to be anything that prevents you from doing that. I checked the rule, and it only talks about placing cases with the same judge if that judge has presided over anything involving that family, and nothing in there says you can't peremptory challenge a judge. So it appears to me that you could conceivably file a second case, and then when it gets bumped over to that family judge, you could conceivably file a peremptory challenge a judge and forcibly remove it from that department again and be randomly assigned to another department. I'm not sure about that. If anyone has any answers or anyone has had any attempts to do that in the past and it didn't work, definitely post in the comments below. The last thing I can think of is I just wanted to clarify that this principle doesn't come from some general idea of right and wrong and fairness. It came from these groups that lobbied it a long time ago. I don't remember how long ago. There was this movement that swept through the country that really pushed for these rules to be enacted. There was a lot of research done on why it was good to have the same family judge preside over the different cases, because I guess in the past there was a lot of confusion and weird decisions came out from different judges and it caused chaos. So don't expect to be able to just go to court and say, hey, one family, one judge, I want this case moved over there. You're going to have to actually do some research and look into your local rules and see if there's a local rule that actually says that your case is supposed to be placed with the other judge. And if so, then you can take some kind of action. From what I have seen in Nevada, the clerks do it on their own when they can. So the clerks will look at a case and they'll say, okay, I'm going to look for these names, and they'll look in the system, and if they see a match, they'll place that case with that judge. But this doesn't always work out, which, as I explained earlier, I filed a weird type of case. It wasn't a family case. I filed a petition for writ of mandamus, and the clerks missed that because it just, when you get that kind of petition, that doesn't jump out at you as a family case. It's somebody's trying to get an extraordinary writ, and so they placed it with a civil judge, and they didn't think about it. And then that judge, when he read the petition on his own, several months later, he was like, uh-oh, this is about family, and he's already got a case open, and I'm going to move it over there under that rule. So look into that in advance, because you don't want to waste 2 or 3 months like I did. You want to just nip it at the bud, and if you see that there's a rule, let the judge know if the case hasn't been moved, because you'll save yourself some time. I had no idea that that was going to be a factor, and it's unfortunate when that happens, but I think a lot of the reasons that non-attorneys end up going through these delays is because they don't know these things, and so sometimes their case will float around there for a while until a judge realizes something's wrong, and 2 or 3 months get wasted, and the judge is just doing what he's supposed to do. He just didn't know, and the clerk didn't know, and that kind of stuff can happen. So anyway, all I wanted to do was cover the one family, one judge rule, explain a little bit of where it comes from, and again, if anyone here has had any interaction with the rule or they have anything good or bad to say about it, feel free to post in the comments below. And with that, I will see you guys next time.